Hey guys, welcome back to my colourful country life. Today is the start of another haul video and I'm starting it off strong with Prismacolor replacements, as is in pretty much every haul that I do. So I ordered mine from the Art Shop, which is in Melbourne, and they are super good at quick delivery and really good packaging. So I haven't opened them up yet. I need to open them because I need these colours for the page I'm currently working on. So let's cut this open. And I can't actually remember all the colours that I purchased. Sorry, I had to cut that bit because it was showing my address. So what I was going to say is I know I'm missing Sky Blue Light because they were out of stock. So I will have to place another order at some point. I will wait until I've got a bunch because it is, I think it's $9.95 shipping, I think, off the top of my head. So I wait until I've got plenty that I need before I place another order. So this is what I'm dealing with at the moment, guys. That is my little Sky Blue Light. So that is what you're going to be seeing until the Art Shop gets some more stock in for me. So see how well packaged these things are. I used to order from Officeworks, and you know, I probably could do an order and get the Sky Blue Light from there, but it's like $30 for regional shipping to get all the way out to here to me in the middle of nowhere. And they don't package it quite as well as this. They'll have the one pencil just loose in the box, just rolling around. So well packaged. I love how, ooh, there's what that box is open. There we go. Oh, cut these free too. So they repurposed their old boxes. I did mention this in my last video, but I still got comments saying they're not Prismacolors. It says so on the box. Well, I did mention it. I did say they repurposed their old boxes, so don't pay attention to what it says on the box, because the pencils inside are all Prismacolors. I don't think I bought, don't think I need any replacements of any other brands. I'm pretty sure they're all Prismas. Oh, that's cloud blue, yep. I should just cut that tape off, shouldn't I? Make life easier. You can see what colours I've been using a lot of lately. That's it. Hopefully I've got a golden rod. Yes, I do, because my golden rod is teeny tiny. Oh, and I need a new dark green too. This is my dark green. Someone was asking me the other day how little I let my pencils get. So when I'm filming a video, I don't let it get any shorter than this. And I have my pencil extenders, which you'll have heard me talk about before. So these are Derwent branded pencil extenders, and I have the black and silver. It comes in a 2-pack. The black fits the Prismacolor pencils and any thinner barreled pencils quite well, and it holds it nice and tight. Now I don't let it get any shorter than this for filming, because every time I have to sharpen the pencil I have to pull it out, and this doesn't fit in my dial anymore. So I then have to sharpen it with this little comb pencil sharpener. Now I did mention all of this in my, it's in my blog post for, what's a blog post called? Is it my favorite adult colouring supplies, or adult colouring supplies for beginners, or something like that? It's on my website as a blog post, but it's also mentioned in a video just before Christmas. I did a video for Christmas ideas, gift ideas, and I mentioned all of this in there as well, with everything listed down below for where to purchase. And then the silver one I use for my polychromos and my Inktense, which I don't have any on hand. For the Inktense though, I do screw that off completely and put the Inktense in. I'm just seeing if I've got a, is that one there? One sec. 1 second. No, it's another Prismacolor. Yeah, so I pop the Inktense in there because it doesn't really fit too well through that hole. Like, it scratches the barrel as it goes in. Like, as it's going through there, it scratches. So I pop it in there and then I screw that on afterwards. and then I screw it off and take the pencil off too. So, but it works perfectly for polychromos and that sort of size. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so this is about as small as I let it get for when I'm filming, and I try not even to let them get this small. Like these are the ones I got on my desk that I'm working with at the moment that I've got to replace today. This is probably more like what I tend to let it get down to. It just depends on when I need to place an order, when I can get an order. Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere. There are no shops nearby. I order from Melbourne, which is a completely different state. And I wait until I've got plenty of pencils before I place my order. So it, you know, makes sense with the shipping costs. But I do still use these. These have still got plenty of life left in them. And you'll have seen, I've mentioned it before, that I do sort of like super glue my pencils together like that and keep using them, and I can use the entire pencil. So yeah, but I don't use them for filming usually unless I have no choice, because I haven't been able to get one, which might happen with my sky blue light until I can get a hold of another color. Aquas, creams and greens. That's what I've mostly been using by the looks of things this month. I did need more colors of the orchid and the amethyst too, which were the two new replacement Prismacolors for lavender and lilac. So I needed some more of them. I'm going to keep this one out, the dark green and the goldenrod, because I need to replace some now. Yeah, so they're all the colors that I've had to replace so far. You will probably see in this video at some point, probably near the end, because I do film this over a few months, you will likely see more Prismacolor replacements, because I will need to get that sky blue light replaced. So I'll just wait until I've got some other smaller ones and do that. So yeah, next time I might just I could buy a whole new 150 set, maybe. We'll see. I'm keeping them out, aren't I? So I'm going to put these ones away, and I will see you when I have something else to show you. So these are all Prismacolor pencils, before anybody asks or says in the comments that they're not. They are all Prismas, and they are all my replacements. And yeah, like I've mentioned before, they just use these, like, sometimes they use the Karen Dash boxes, sometimes they use Faber-Castell boxes. They just use anything really. And these are like that's a Pale Sage, so that's a Prismacolor box, those plain ones. So they just package it in anything that keeps it nice and tight and safe for these beautiful pencils that tend to break if they're not kept safe. And I'll put these aside so I can put them away after. Next up, I have something a little bit special from KJDesignByKaren. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know just how much I adore Karen's metallic watercolor paints. Honestly, they are unmatched in quality, and I basically use them on practically every single page, especially the color golden, which is my absolute favorite. It is the most beautiful shiny golden color. If you check out my Instagram feed or even my completed pages, you will see this listed under the mediums used so often. So after Karen noticed in one of my videos that my beloved golden was running quite low, she offered to send me out a replacement as a thank you. And to my complete surprise and delight, she didn't send just one replacement, she sent me two. How generous is that? That is so kind of Karen. I am so very thankful and appreciative. These are genuinely my favorite metallic paints. So these replacements arrived in these adorable little plastic containers. Aren't they cute? I'm already thinking of ways I could repurpose these containers, maybe for mixing paints or perhaps storing shavings from my most used Neocolor 2s. Let me know if you have any creative ideas on how I could repurpose these containers. They are so stinking cute. Look at that beautiful shiny golden. It is so pretty. Have a look at, there should be a reel up from my latest page in Dark Fairy Tales, and you'll see how spectacularly shiny this paint actually is. And that is not all. Karen has also sent me out another set of metallic paints in this lovely metal tin here, with 12 beautiful shades that I have yet to try out. I'm honestly so excited to swatch these out and see how they perform. Let's remove this little plastic cover, and oh my goodness, look at how beautiful and sparkly these colors are. They are simply stunning. I'll get that as close as I can. I don't know if the beauty of this sparkle is showing up so much on the camera. Let me just move my light. Can you see that? Look at it sparkle. So pretty. Immediately my eyes are drawn to this one here. That is called Bezzle. It is a super sparkly, sort of like a pale silvery gold shade with heaps of white glitter. Just look at how it catches the light there. Absolutely sensational. And you all know how much I love a little bit of sparkle. And there's another exciting color here, Disco Ball. I'm so curious to swatch this one out. It's a beautiful silvery base, but just look at that glitter. I don't know if it's showing up so well on camera, but it is a very fine mix of red and blue and green sparkles. I'll get it as close as I can. I think it's working. Look. That is so pretty. And isn't that name just perfect? It's literally like a mirror ball in paint form. That's the name of it there, Disco Ball. Okay, we're gonna pull out this little bit of cardboard here and we're gonna swatch these stunning colors. Okay, I'm just gonna pop it out with my craft knife. There we go. Oh, and we've got it, and I'll write the names down first before we start swatching. Okay, and please excuse my nails, guys. They need to be redone. I just haven't had time, so I'm going to redo them tonight while I'm watching TV with the kids. I'm just pulling these forward so I can get to the colour names. Okay, so what have we got? We've got chrome. Gosh, see if I can write this neatly. I think I'll use a pencil instead, just in case. So we have, across the top row, chrome. Then we have Misty. And then, what does it say? Tiny. Oh, I can't read that. That's not tiny. What does that say? Oh. Guys, can someone read that for me? Tell me what that says. Is it written anywhere else? No. Anyone read that? I might have to ask Karen what that's it. Something's, is it silver? I'm gonna call it tiny silver. I don't know that that's what it says. I'll ask Karen, but I'll write it in pencil now as tiny silver. Yeah, I don't know what it says. Tiny silver is what it's called for now. And then we've got Bezzle. Okay, Disco Ball, yep. We'll go down here, give some room. Disco Ball. I think that says martial law. I might write it there. And what's next? That just says pale. And hang on, I can't see that one either. Oh, I can't read that. Oh, the writing's off on that one too. I'll have to ask Karen what these ones are called, so I can get them right when I'm using them. Okay, oh, look at the gold glitter in this one. Can you see that? Look at that. What's this one called? Mars. I'm just gonna leave that one blank for now, and I'll ask Karen what the name is. What have we got? Majesty. Very royal colour there. They look really good on my dark fairy tales actually, that beautiful rich purple. Neptune. And this beautiful black one is called Earth. Yeah, that says Earth. Okay, let's put them back in. Okay, and I'm just going to use my mini mister here to spray the paints and let them sit for a minute. Okay, let's try these. I can't wait to see what they look like when they're swatched out. I was just looking at these two. They'd be beautiful on a like a fall and autumn page. Just think like pages with pumpkins and all those sort of fun things. These two here, and actually these three are really pastel. Actually these four, these sort of like pale silvery pastel-y type colors would look really good together too. Okay, so I'm going to start with Bezzle. Shimmer. Look at the shimmer. Can't wait to see this one. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Lift that up. Look at that sparkle. That is beautiful. That is the most beautiful silver. It kind of looked like it was like a really pale gold. I think because it looks a bit warmer than the color next to it, which looks more like blue tone, but it is very much a beautiful silver. I think this is going to become my new favorite silver. I've got golden for my gold. I think Bezzle will be my new silver. So let's just wipe off the brush and try this one where I just made up a name. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh yeah, this is a bluey tone silver. It's very shiny. Look at that. So this one's very glittery and this one's very shiny. Look at that. Okay, Misty. Misty sounds like it'd be a fun one. I'm just wiping my the color off on the cloth. This one sounds like it would be fun for like dark fairy tales, for some fog maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it's got that sort of like a blue green tint to it. Perfect name. Definitely. Oh, gonna lift it up. There we go. Definitely really good for a shiny fog, or even outlining, so covering over your black lines if you're colouring some fog. But look at it. Beautiful. Okay, I'm getting distracted by the shimmery and all that shimmery goodness. What's this one called? Chrome. Oh, look at it. Look at it. These names are perfect. That looks like chrome. Okay. Look. I'm so obsessed with these sparkly colors. So pretty. I'm still obsessed with Bezzle. Look at it. Okay, on to the next row. Clean off my brush. What have we got next? Oh, this is the one I wasn't sure the name of. I'll find out for you all. And I don't know if this is a set up on Karen's Etsy. I will link Karen's Etsy below. If it's not a set up there and you are interested in the set, I know with the last set Karen sent me, people were just messaging her asking about the set on my channel. So if you ask her about the set on my channel, she'll know which one, which colors you mean. But I'll ask her if there is an actual set for these colors. But they are sold individually too, I believe. Look, that's interesting. Sort of like a bronzy color with these gold glitter flakes. Like a sort of coppery bronze. Is that, oh, there you go. Okay, Now, pale, the colour off the brush. Okay. Okay. It's looking like a bit like a sort of antique gold. Yeah. Oh, there we go, catching the light. That's more of an antique gold, and I can see the glitter flakes in that too. Okay, now let's try this beautiful pale purple Martial Law. This looks nice and sparkly. Look at that pretty purple. See how good that would go with Misty and Chrome? Martial Law and Misty, they would make a really good colour palette. I think your pale purples and those sort of like greeny blue tones. Look at that. It's got sort of a silver glitter, I think. Okay, now the one I've been dying to try here. Actually, I'm looking at Neptune as well, and that's so sparkly too. Okay, let's check out this disco ball. This one has me intrigued. Okay. Oops. I'm just, look at the, can you see when it's wet? All the different tones in there. Okay. So, ooh, it's like a, it's like it's translucent with like the different color and the silver glitters. Let me lift that up. Look at that. Now that's interesting. I can see the sparkle picking up on camera, but I don't know if you can see that it kind of comes across as like a almost clear, not quite clear, with just like different colored glitters like silver, blue, green, red. Okay, I think that'd be a fun one to do over the top of like wings, dragonflies, butterflies, fairy wings. That'd be a fun one to try out. Okay, let's see Earth. Earth looks really dark. I wonder what this one's gonna look like. Oh wow. Okay, let's lift that up. That's almost looks almost black. I can see the different, as it's drying, you can see all the different bits of glitter. Is it capturing? It's not as shiny as the others, but I can see the glitter. I don't know if you can see it. It's got different colored glitters by the looks of it. I can see sort of greens and blues. Is that, I don't think it's capturing it. Oh, maybe there. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. It's very deep, dark color. So I think if you want to add something like a bit of a shine to a black element maybe, or a border, black border with a bit of sparkle. Let's check out Neptune. I'm just getting that, that color off my brush. Okay, whoops. Let's check out Neptune. It's another nice dark color. Well, this looks like it's got like a little purple undertone. Okay, I'll clean off my brush while that's drying. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely got sort of like a purple undertone. I think like if I added more water, it'd wash out with a purple tone to it. and it's got sort of a golden glittery base. So where this has got more greeny blue glitter, it's more sort of like an orangey glitter. Trying to catch it. Oh, I can see it when I'm looking at the paper. Oh, there, I think I've caught it. I think I caught it. There we go. All right, now Majesty. Beautiful royal purple. I see a lot of purples in dark fairy tales. So I think this would be a really good colour for it. Okay. Look at that. Purple with sort of, I think it's like a silvery pink sparkle. Look, there you go. Catch the light. You can see all the others sparkling. I mean, I could just sit here all day doing this and watching it sparkle. Okay, so let's do Mars. Mars looks really cool. Let's have a look. I am absolutely obsessed with Bezzle though. You know that's going to be the colour I'm using on all my pages from now on, along with that golden. Disco ball looks really fun too. I want to try that one out on some wings. I need a fairy page or something with bugs even. Maybe. Oh, look at that. Look how rich that colour is. That is beautiful. And yes, it goes perfectly with the purple. That's really pretty. Guys, can you hear all that wind? I hope it's not too loud for you. It's super windy today. All those autumn winds hitting us here in Australia. Is that it? Did I catch it? There. Oh, look, look at the sparkling Majesty. So beautiful. There, I think I can capture Neptune and Earth. Can you imagine them on a galaxy page? I can actually see them in using alien worlds as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in there. Golden. I'll just show you my other palette for those of you who don't know what that one looks like. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So that is the swatch of golden. Isn't that beautiful and shiny? It is the perfect bright shiny gold. Okay, so big thank you once again to Karen. I'm just going to put these aside so they can dry off. I really do appreciate it. These are going to get a lot of use, as all of her paints do. Like I said, I'll link Karen's Etsy down below. You can buy the paints individually. And if you want this as a set, if it's not showing up on her Etsy store, just send Karen a message and just say the set that I just recently shown in this video, and she'll know exactly what you're talking about and be able to put it together for you. And I will find out what that one's called and write it in here as well. So keep an eye out for these being used on my colouring pages very soon. Oh, look at that shine. Look, if I lift it really close, I could sit here and do this all day. I'm getting distracted. Okay. The next product is not as exciting and definitely a lot less sparkly, but still very important, and that is a new bottle of masking fluid. I am almost out. Where's my current bottle? I'm almost out. So I repurchased my trusted favorite, the Winsor Newton watercolor medium art masking fluid. Now I specifically prefer this one because it has that slight yellow pigmentation. It makes it really easy to see exactly where I've applied it on my page. And if you are new to masking fluid, I do have an entire video explaining what it is, what it's for, and how to use it, so feel free to check that out. I will link it down below for you. But basically, masking fluid helps me protect certain elements on my page from mediums like distress inks and watercolor paints while I am coloring. Now, when I opened the box, I initially thought something was off. The color looked very different, but it turns out it's just the color of the bottle. The bottle itself is tinted, so the fluid inside is exactly the same. And I'll just show you what it looks like inside. Whoops. That's from me shaking the bottle. Yeah, so I'm almost out of my current one, so I've got a new one ready to go. Now, I like to apply this, oops, I'm knocking everything over. I like to apply this using my silicone brushes, which I have here. I have a whole heap of different sizes. Oh, stretching across to my drawers here. Here we go. So there's two different sets, but it all came in one set, if that makes sense. So they all come with different sizes. I think this set is linked in my Amazon storefront down below as well. Now, the one that I prefer to use is this one here, because it's got a bit of an angle, so I can either use a point to get into some smaller places, or if I need to do it a long line, I can use the side as I'm placing my masking fluid on the page. But you'll see all of this information in my video about masking fluids if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, so this is going to come in handy because I do like to use my watercolors and my distress inks for my background. So that is something I really needed to get a replacement for. Next product I have to show you is the 60 set of Faber-Castell Pit Pastel pencils. As you may know, I do have a smaller pastel set from another brand, a set of pastel pencils, which I did review previously, and I absolutely love them. But it is mainly portrait and skin tones. I think off the top of my head there's 12 in the set. So I mentioned in a video a little while back now how limited I felt with the colors. I was trying to create a really deep dark skin tone. I just felt like that set didn't have all the colors I needed to create the color combination that I wanted. And somebody did mention in the comments if I had tried these Pit Pastel pencils. So today is the day I have finally got my hands on them, and as you can see, they're still in their shrink wrap, and I'm so eager to open these with you and start swatching them out. So I'll grab my craft knife and let's cut this open. So yes, okay. So they come in this gorgeous deep green Faber-Castell tin like their usual pencils do. And you might have seen on the back there, I did see a swatch chart. Let's flip this over, giving us a little teaser of what pencil colors we can expect inside. So let's flip it back around. That's the swatch chart there. Beautiful color range by the looks of it. So we'll whip it back around and open it up. Okay, so what have we got here? Bit of information on the pencils. Okay, so it gives you some techniques and ideas of how to use them. Just looking to see. There we go, it's in English. Okay, I'll have to give some of these techniques a try. Interesting. Okay, so what have we got here? Pit Graphite Matte, the new matte black pencil. Okay, ideal for writing, drawing and sketching. Okay, so I'm so excited. First impressions. Wow, look at these beautiful pencils. Look at the quality. We've got these little grips here to lift up the tray, and I'm just gonna place that in the lid here. I might need to zoom you guys out, I think, in a minute. Is there another tray? No, so we've got two trays. I'll zoom you out. Okay, so now you should be able to see the full range of pencils on the screen here. So we've got 60, we've got them laid out in sets of 10 here. And let's lift one up and have a look. There we go, I'll just pop one out. So each pencil has a beautiful cedar wood casing finished with these dipped color caps at the end, matching the pencil color that is inside. The Faber-Castell name, so we've got Faber-Castell Pit Pastel written on the barrel, and the color number is here too, and the number is the last 3 digits. I think the 1122 is the product code for the pastel pencils. 184 is the color number, and then you've got the stars here that show you the light fastness. I'm just check that that is showing on the screen for you, because my phone is so high up I cannot see my screen. There you go. So interestingly, these color numbers actually match up with the polychromos pencils, which is fantastic. I love when brands coordinate their colors like this. The only thing I would wish for would perhaps be a larger set of 120 colors, similar to what they have done with the Albrecht Dürers, the watercolor pencils. That would be absolutely perfect. So you have the 120 polychromos matching with the 120 Albrecht Dürer watercolors and matching with 120 pastel pencils. That would just make my day. But 60, we have a beautiful color range here. And really, do you need 120 pastel pencils? I don't think so. I think we can create some beautiful blends with the colors that we have here, just looking at the color selection. Now, there was no swatch sheet included, so just in case, before we started, I did just print out my own. Let me grab it here. And we can swatch these colors out on screen together. Now, the blank swatch sheet should be up on my Ko-fi and also my website. I will double check after this if you're looking for a way to swatch out your pencils as well. And I've just written in the name of the medium here and also the pencil numbers that I got from the back of the box. So straight away you can just see how beautiful this color range is. What I'm going to do is move it to the side, zoom it in, and I've got a notebook here. I'm just put the notebook under my sheet to cushion it. And let's swatch these beautiful pencils out. Am I going to go left or right? Left or right, Karen? This way. Okay, and I'll zoom you in. Decisions. Okay, now I have just noticed here, let me move it to the side again. I was just looking at how I was going to swatch these because, you know, I am left-handed, so I do prefer to work right to left, especially now that we're working with pastels. I have more of a chance of smudging them across the page. But I thought, so I've got each row on my swatch sheet holds 10 pencils, and we have each section here holding 10 pencils. So I thought I could just do a section at a time, but here is 226 and 226 is down here. So I did put the numbers in as per the colors on the back, the order of the colors on the back. So maybe, should I print out another sheet and just do it in this order? Because this does look like a really good color family order. I think I may just do that. So let me get rid of this one here and we will start from scratch. I'll do it in the order that we have here. Yeah, let me move this out of the way. Okay, I am back with a new sheet. So we're gonna move this back across. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll just write the numbers down on the sheet as we go along. Okay, so immediately you can see just how vibrant and rich these pigments are. Now, I was barely touching the paper. I was using a very light pressure, and look at the color payoff. It's really bright, really vibrant. The color range is actually really versatile. You got some perfect shades for backgrounds, some really good portrait shades in here and skin tones as well. If you're interested, I could do a separate video demonstrating how I use these pastel pencils for skin tones or a background, or perhaps you'd like me to include them in my upcoming background series. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know if you have specific elements you'd like me to color with them, or even if you'd like to see an entire page colored using only these pencils. And it's also worth mentioning Derwent actually makes a sharpener specifically designed for pastel and charcoal pencils, which I am curious to try, because usually I do sharpen my pastel pencils using a blade rather than my regular Dahl 133 sharpener, just to protect the pencils. And the beauty of pastel pencils is their versatility and how forgiving they are. If you make a mistake, they erase really easily, which also lets you create some fantastic effects too, like erasing through stencils to create patterns, or making soft bokeh effects by erasing circles. There are so many blending techniques you can try as well with silicone brushes, like the ones I showed you earlier with the masking fluid. You could use blending stumps, your finger, cotton buds, or even blending colors together with the white pencil. Each technique is going to give you a unique finish. And because they match up with the Polychromos pencil numbers, you can use my Polychromos color combo charts to create quick and easy color blends with these pencils too. Especially great for skin tones like I mentioned earlier. Honestly, pastel pencils speed up the coloring process incredibly. Coloring something like a large face last one it took me about 15 minutes. I'm just looking for my book now. I'll quickly show you it. Okay, let me just quickly zoom you out a second. So the last face I did, the last skin tone I did was in this Alice in Wonderland book by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And this is the portrait here. And I think the skin tone took me like 10 to 15 minutes. It was so quick and easy. And we can definitely recreate something like this using these pencil colors too. So I'm just looking through now and I can see some combos that will match, and they'll match up with my skin tone combos too. And on that note, let me just move this out the way. 1 second. I'm beginning to think I need a bigger desk. There's just not enough room here. I'll just move this to the side and I'll grab my swatch sheets and we can have a look at where am I? Polychromos, here we are. So let's just do this. And you can have a look here and see that they match up. If I can fit it all in the screen here. Let me do that. So we've got 101 here, 103, 102, 104, 106, 109, 113, 118, 225, 226. So you can see, and I smudged that with my finger as I was dragging it across. So you can see how they fit in here with the pencils. So you've got like your beige red, coral. Sorry, I've got the old pencil names here, the new pencil names, beige red, coral. So your skin tones around this area as well. So I think I need to spray that swatch chart with a fixative. I'm going to go and do that now. I'm really excited to colour some more with these pencils. So please do let me know your thoughts and what you'd like to see next with these, if you're interested in seeing them on the channel, and maybe we can do some backgrounds for it. Like I said, I do have an upcoming background series. Let me know if you'd like to have these included. And with the background series, actually, I do have a few questions for you all. I am thinking of completing the backgrounds in one of my colouring books, perhaps one of the newer Hannah Carlzon books. And by new, I don't mean her most recent releases, or it could be one of them. I just mean the ones with the new publisher, not her older books, because I haven't coloured in them as much. Or I do have a spare Mythic World. I could use that as a demonstration book. So if I do it in Mythic World, I just use it as a demo book and I wouldn't finish the pages. But if I do it in Hannah Carlzon, I can do the backgrounds and I can come back and at a later date I can leave them as whips and come back at a later date and finish off the pages. So that's what I'm thinking in my mind, but I would like to know if you just want to know how to use particular mediums. So I've got the how to use neocolors, how to use distress inks, how to use what am I thinking of, ink tints. So I have videos like that already on the channel. Do you want how to use the products or specific backgrounds, like how to do a bokeh effect, that kind of thing? Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I might actually put a poll up on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, I might put a poll up in my stories, so I can get started on that series for you all. Yeah, so that is the Faber-Castell Pit Pastel pencils. So some of you may remember me mentioning that my distress inks are starting to dry up a bit. I have started purchasing the re-inkers. Eventually I'd like to have one re-inker for each distress ink color, as I do use my distress inks often and they're so much easier to work with when they're nice and juicy. I have had mine for years now and only now are they starting to feel dry. I was actually going to do a background the other month and two of the colors I wanted to use were all dried up, which was milled lavender and spun sugar here. So I ended up going with a whole different background for the page, but I did purchase the re-inkers for both these colors, and I'll talk more about the re-inkers in a moment. But first, the next product I want to talk about is the refresher spray. So until I build up my collection of re-inkers, I thought this might help me prolong the life of my distress inks in the meantime. Now, I have heard of some people making their own homemade ink refreshers for their ink pads, but I want to see how the actual product performs before I even think of trying something like that. So it does have instructions on the back, but I'll just have to open the packet quickly. Okay, so I've got the plastic off the bottle. Now, the instructions on the back says, Tim Holtz Distress Refresher hydrates and conditions dry distress ink pads, markers, paints, and other water-based mediums. For ink pads, hold bottle 2 to 3 inches from pad and mist the entire surface. Allow distress refresher to soak into pad before using. And then it's got instructions for markers, which I'll read out as well. Spray marker, nib, and recap to hydrate. And for paint, spray dabber foam after use and recap to keep dabber foam hydrated. So we're working with ink pads today. So hold bottle 2 to 3 inches from pad and mist entire surface. Allow it to soak into the pad before using. And Tim Holtz does recommend leaving it for about 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to spray it now and then we'll put it to the side and leave it. I'm just going to move that out of the way so it doesn't get wet. And actually, before we spray, let's show you what it looks like currently. Bring that back. We'll go with spun sugar. So pull my thing off the bottom. Okay, and this one's pretty dry. So I'm giving it a good once over, and that is with hard pressure. So you can see how dry it is. I couldn't even work with it at all. So a few of my last backgrounds, when I've said my inks are drying out, you've seen me just go over with layer upon layer, but I can't do that with this one. It's so dry. I don't even know if you can see it there on the paper. All right, so the refresher. Let's see how this works. It doesn't say that I have to shake the bottle or anything, so I am not going to. I'm just going to spray it directly on there. Okay. Also, any products I do mention in today's video will be linked down in the description box below as well. So let's hope this works. And okay, I think that's 5 sprays. Just going to leave that to soak in for a few minutes. Now, while that is soaking in, let's look at the re-inkers again. I'm just going to dry this so the paper doesn't get wet. Okay, I've got some of that product on my hand and it actually feels a bit like sticky. It feels like I need to wash my hands. Like an oily, sticky substance. Like honey on your hands. That sort of feeling. So, let's look at the reinkers. Now, they come in these dropper bottles, and I'm just going to take the plastic off them. Alright, so I've got the plastic off both of them, and I washed my hands because I did not like the feel of that Distress Refresher on my hands. What I think we'll do is work with milled lavender for the moment while that refresher is setting in. So let me show you what my milled lavender is looking like now before we re-ink it. And I'm pressing really hard on this to try and get some sort of colour payoff. And I'll just go down the side here. Nothing at all. There's nothing coming, no matter how hard I press. Maybe that might have done something. There's basically nothing. Can you even see that just there? So we're going to add the re-inker drops now. And this will definitely bring back some vibrancy for us. So this is milled lavender. It comes in these glass dropper bottles. So under the lid, look at that beautiful colour. So I'm just going to pick some up. Not that much, I think that's too much. Okay. And I'm going to add that here and I'm going to spread it across. Now, I know Tim Holtz recommends getting a card or a sharp object, the sharp side of the object, and sort of scraping it across to make sure the colour is even, but I am too lazy for that today. So we're going to leave it as it is and let that soak in. Now let me check with the refresher spray. How long has it been? I might leave that for a few more minutes, and let's do the milled lavender. So, oh, I might need to add more in there actually. It's still not looking very, I could soak that up really well. Yeah, and there's still nothing, okay. Let's try again. Let's add some more in. It's just really soaked it right up. Let's see if this does a better job. Now, milled lavender isn't a really deep dark colour to begin with, I don't think. Let me grab my swatches. Okay, so this is my Distress Ink swatch sheet. I think I just got it off the Ranger website. There's the link down there. Now you can see I am missing a few colours that I've still got to get. Plus, I don't think this sheet has the brand new colours. This is an old sheet from when I first started collecting them. So there's been a few new colours added since. And where are I? Milled lavender. So that's what it originally looked like when I purchased the ink. And we're getting none of that coloured payoff at the moment. So let's try again. See if we can get some of that soft, dusky purple tones. We're super dry. I can see some colour coming off now on my foam pad. It's still going to be a really soft colour. Gosh. I'm going to add some more. How dry is my ink pad? We're going to try that spun sugar, see if that refresher worked. At this rate, I'm going to go through a whole re-ink. I may as well have just bought a new pad. Okay, let's take that in. Okay, so I think we can check the refresher now. While that waits, I'm just going to move that to the side, make sure I don't get my foam pads mixed up. That's my spun sugar, spun sugar, spun sugar. Okay. here we go. So with the refresher, I should have timed it. I can't remember how long ago I did it, but let's try it now. And I'm just trying to get some color on there. Oops. And it's still got the droplets on the side. Now my fingers are sticky again. This is not working at all. Oh, actually, I take it back. Maybe I need to leave it longer. But you can see there is a bit more color payoff. Yeah, look at that. Okay, it's working. I was thinking I wasted my money for a second there. And you can even see the color payoff on the ink pad too. It feels yucky. I'm gonna have to wash my hands again. But we're getting some color payoff now. Okay, so maybe it needs to be left a little bit longer, and then we'll do it again with the re-inker as well. So let's go back to, now, oh, I really want to wash my hands. What are we doing? Milled lavender. Okay, so let's see what it's like now that I added some more of the re-inker on there. I can see the color payoff on the foam pad. Still very light. I might actually, it's coming up. So it is a very light color to begin with, but I think it does need some more of the re-inker. It is very dry. Are these worth it? Oh, I haven't decided yet. I don't know if it was worth buying the re-inkers, or if it would have been, better off buying a new ink pad. I can't remember. I have to have a look at the price. Can't remember how much they cost. To see if it was value for money. Milled lavender. Okay, just double checking I'm putting the right color on. I think that's going to be enough. That was a lot. There's still plenty in there. So like I said, it has lasted me years. I can't remember when I first got the Distress inks. It possibly 4 years. Maybe I might have had this. Maybe longer. I can't really recall. But look, it's taken that long for mine to start drying out. So if this lasts me another 4 years, I've still got plenty in this bottle to keep going with. So it could be worth it. It could be value for money. Let's try it again now. I mean, I should have done the card thing that Tim Holtz recommends. So it is supposed to be a very light color to begin with. So I think, I mean, it is a lot better. I think I'll just let it sit for a while and see if it gets better. And if not, I will add in even more of a re-inker. Now I have done this before with, what is my other one? 1 second. Here it is. Broken China is my only other re-inker that I've purchased. Now, Broken China was my most used blue for doing skies. If you think back to, I think it was Worlds Within Worlds, so 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was now when I was doing that. If you think back to then, that's what I was using for most of my Distress ink, my cloud backgrounds, all that sort of stuff. So I did use up a lot of that ink and have to use my re-inker. And I remember using this re-inker, just a couple of drops on the pad, and it made it so juicy. So it could be just that because I'm using such a light color, or it could be that it was just way too dried out. I don't think I let Broken China get anywhere near this dried out, but it is a better color payoff. So I'm going to put that aside and finish with that one, and we're going to add the drops to Spun Sugar. So you can see Spun Sugar, the refresher did do a pretty good job actually. So I might go through all my Distress ink pads, and any that are dried out, I will give them a bit of a spray and let them sit. So what are we doing? Drops, Spun Sugar. Okay. It's gonna suck that color right up because it's so dry. Trying to get it to all the edges. Okay, just leave that for a minute. All right, let's try this out now. Oops. Yeah, look at that color payoff. I think I could still do with a bit more. But you can definitely see the difference. It's blending out nicely. Look at that. Yep, you can see the difference here. So we've got next to nothing originally. And then you've got this sort of, it's with the refresh, it's kind of like a watered down, washed out version of the color. So it's not quite as vibrant. But when we put the re-inker on, it comes up nice and vibrant, and that is very true to the color. So that is exactly what the color should be, where this seems a little bit more washed out, like a washed out version of it. Yes, so while searching, let me put all this back together so I don't put anything in the wrong spot. While searching for the re-inkers on Amazon, I came across a Distress Resist spray, and I couldn't resist trying it. See what I did there? My corny jokes. This Distress Resist spray. I was really curious to see what kind of effects I could create with this. So in my mind, I was thinking of masking fluid in a spray. So basically something that would leave areas on the page free of distress ink. So the product would repel the color and leave these natural looking spray effects. And then we could have a beautifully blended background with our distress ink. So like a neater version of the water droplet effect kind of. I have done something similar with masking fluid, and that was in Mythic World. Yeah, I'll grab the book and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so where was it? This one. So what I did is I did add some paint splatters and stuff like that on here as well, but I used my masking fluid and splattered it around the page, and then I used my Neo Color 2s for the background, and then I just went in and rubbed off all that masking fluid, and it left all these sort of like, can you see? Maybe you can see that there, all these sort of little white spaces. These little white speckles. I added in some white dots as well, which you can see those rounded dots, but you can see all these little speckles. So that's the kind of effect I was thinking of. But this is a textured spray. Now I did find some tips from Tim Holtz himself, and he recommends spraying it within a cardboard box, so 3 sides, because anything that it does touch will end up with a texture on it that you will be able to feel, and it won't come off. Now that kind of scares me. It kind of sounds like hard work too. Well, not really. I'm sure there's a cardboard box around the house here somewhere I could use, but setting it up each time would annoy me. He does also recommend wiping the nozzle with a baby wipe or damp towel after each use as well. Let's take, has it got plastic on it too? Yeah, let me take this plastic off. All right, now apparently it only takes a minute or so to dry. And you can, if you press the nozzle quickly, you can create a fine mist, or if you press the nozzle a bit slower, you'll get larger droplets as well. So you could do a mix on your page if you wanted to. Now, it goes on white. As you can see, it's this milky sort of color here, but it will dry translucent. And I'm assuming this is going to leave a final texture like glossy accents. One thing with using texture on our colouring books is when we go to colour the page in front or behind it, it can cause a ghosting or texture to come through onto your current page. So you may need to have something underneath to cushion your page. You could use some printer paper or a plastic sheet, but we might be getting ahead of ourselves here. So let's try it first. Now I don't have a cardboard box on hand, so I'm going to just lay some paper down all over my desk and cross my fingers that I don't destroy anything. Do not try this at home. One second, let me move everything out of the way and set it up with some paper. Okay, so I've put bits of scrap paper all over my desk now, and I just have this bit of paper here that I'm going to use to spray. So I'm going to spray on the resist spray to the paper, and then once it's dry, we'll use some distress inks over the top and see what effects it creates. So let's hope I don't make a mess. I'm going to shake it. Does it say to shake? No. It just says spray direct to surface for splatter effect or through stencil and let it dry. Apply water-based inks over surface. Clean spray nozzle after each use. That's all it says. So let's give it a go. Wish me luck. Okay. All right, that's not too bad. It didn't, like, there's a few splatters that came off the page, but it didn't go everywhere. And it wasn't such a fine mist that I was expecting. And what I'm going to do is move all the paper back out of the way while that is drying, and I'll just lift it up and see if you can see it's sort of got like a pearlescent color to it, so you can probably see it. Hang on, let me turn my light on. That would help, wouldn't it? There we go. So I'm going to put that aside while it dries, and it does take long to dry. So let's move this to the side. I'm going to pack this away, and I'm going to grab some distress ink colours so we can try that out too. And maybe if it looks really good, we might try it out on a background. It would have been really good to use it, I think, on you know that background I did in Magical Worlds, that galaxy background I did with distress inks. I think it'd be really cool to have used that on that page too. So let me just set this up. Okay, so in the time it's taken me to set my desk back up and grab out a couple of distress inks, it has dried completely, and I can feel the texture on it. It's not as raised as a glossy accent feels. The smaller droplets kind of feel a bit sandy. They feel a bit grainy, a little bit like if you got pencil dust or dust from soft pastels on your page. Kind of has that sort of feeling. And then the bigger lumps is a little bit more like if you used the Jelly Roll glazes. So it could still leave an imprint on your page. If you're colouring the back of the page there, I would put something underneath here for some cushioning so you didn't get the imprint on the back. Now, I just pulled out, what did I pull out? Fired Brick and Mustard Seed. They were the first two on the top of my pile, and let's try them out. So I don't know that these are going to blend so well, but that's not what we're here for. We just want to see the texture look. So that's for Fired Brick and Mustard Seed. Okay, let's go. What are we going to use? We'll use Mustard Seed first. And I'm just going to do a rough job here. This isn't going to be anything spectacular, and it's just printer paper, so let's see how this works. One sec. Might be easy if I hold the page with these magnets. Now, what was I doing? Not that one. Where did I put? Oh, it rolled off the desk. Okay, here we go. Let's try it now. So mustard seed, was it mustard seed? Yep. How am I going to do this? Let's go like this. I wonder if those bigger drops weren't quite dry, because they have sucked the colour in a little bit. But this is exactly the look I was hoping it would give. Not these bigger drops, so I might have had to leave it a bit longer for those bigger drops, I think. but it's working perfectly over those small spray areas. I think next time I will leave it a little bit longer, or can get, like, if you've got I've just got a hairdryer, so I just use a hairdryer to dry it. But if you've got a heat gun, you could give it a quick dry with that. So you can see already the effect you're getting. Let me just put some fired brick over there and see what that looks like with a couple of different colors. Yeah, can you imagine this is a galaxy sky? I want to create a galaxy now. This is fun. I wanted to use this on what page was I doing the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use this on the background. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, you know what? Like, sometimes I just go straight in on the page. I'm like, try it first. Try it, Kaz. You might not like it. And you might stuff your page. So I'm not liking the way it's going over the bigger dots, but I am liking the smaller splatters. And does it come off? No. This is going to be the most beautiful kind of galaxy with these. This would have been perfect for that Magical Worlds page. I'm going to lift it closer for you. Now, it is very rough. This was no masterpiece. It was a trial. So you can see the splatters, and that's what feels kind of sandy. These bigger lumps, they actually look like they absorbed a bit of the color, so they must not have been properly dry. So I think next time I will either leave it drier or dry it with my hair dryer to speed up the process. And this doesn't, you don't scrape it off. I don't even think you could. No, it stays on there. It feels like, how else can I describe it? Kind of feels like the glossy accents, but without that glossy feel. Not the glossy accents, the Jelly Roll glazes. It feels like if you've ever used liquid paper, or what else do they call it? Whiteout paper? Liquid paper here in Australia. If you've ever used that and you put it on over some of your writing and it has that sort of lumpy feel to it, it kind of feels a little bit like that. Yeah. It's not super texture. It's like it's texturized, and you could have an imprint, but it's not super texturized. And if you're doing it on a single page, single-sided pages, I think you would be perfectly fine. Let's just have a look on the other side. Yeah, so the bigger ones did come through a little bit. So I would spray really quickly to get just those small dots. That small, fine, Misty spray. But that was fun. I want to try that in one of my books now. That was really fun. Okay, let me move this out of the way again. All right, so the next product I have to show you is actually a replacement for my Derwent battery operated eraser, because I managed to break mine. I always say to you guys that I am heavy-handed, and I am heavy-handed. I broke my Dial 133, my original one, by using too much pressure, and I've done the same thing to my Derwent battery operated eraser, and it's kind of like bent. This plastic bit here is bent, and it just doesn't erase properly. Like, I can use it without turning it on, but as soon as I turn it on, it just does not work properly. So I did order a new one, and it came in the mail the other day like this. Can you see that? So I don't know what's happened here, and it came from, let me have a look. I bought it off Amazon, and it says sold by Blick Art Materials. So it came from Blick. So I don't know if the package was just fallen apart, or if they've sold it to someone who's tried it and not liked it and they've repackaged it. I don't know what's happening here. Let's have a look. Now, if you've seen my blog post of my favorite items, I think the packaging was just come undone, that's all. It still looks brand new. And do they come with, it doesn't come with batteries. I'll have to put the batteries in. If you've seen my blog post, you'll have seen me mention that this is my favorite eraser, and you might also have seen it in my top picks for holiday gifts. That was in December 2024, that video, and you'll see me, I'll explain in that video how to use it and all that sort of stuff. But let me replace the batteries from my old one into the new one. See, this is perfect for those pastel pencils that I was showing you earlier in the video. Plus one, that one goes there, and that goes there. Yeah, if you want like that quick easy bokeh effect, you can use your pastel pencils or even just your normal pastels. And why won't you click on? Are they in properly? No, there you go. Okay, why are you doing that to me? There we go. Beautiful. So what can I erase? Let me grab those Pick pastel pencils. Okay, so I've got to try it out and show you, you know. So we're going to show you with the Pick pastel pencils. I'm just going to grab the first one I see here, which is a dark blue. What is it? 157. Okay. And now you can use a circle template, which is what I prefer to use because I am hopeless. Actually, I'm getting better. I am not hopeless. I was, but I'm not now. I'm getting better at creating a circle. Hang on, let me do more. I'm a bit pedantic and a bit OCD, if you haven't already noticed. I like my circles to be perfectly round. I'm just going to blow the dust off here just to get it out of the way so it doesn't smudge. And I am now getting better at doing them freehand. So now I've said that, the pressure is on. This is not going to be a perfect circle, guys. It's just going to be a circle. Or actually, I should just do a line. No, I'm going to do a circle. Now the challenge is on. So you see how easily you can erase the pastel pencils, and that will give you your bokeh effect. So normally I do blend out my pencils. I don't leave them just colored like that. I do like to blend them out. So but yeah, easily erasable. Yeah. So what is next to show you? Oh, before we move on, it does come with these extra erasers in the box, but with my old one I had used them all up, so I bought an extra packet. So I've got plenty of spares to work with now. Okay, so the next product I have to show you is some sticky tabs. Not very exciting, but they are practical. So I do reuse my sticky tabs as much as I can until they are no longer sticky, but I am now running low. So I have just purchased a new pack from Amazon. These ones here, both sets were pretty cheap. I think they were both under $10 each. I'll double check for you. If I remember, I'll pop the price on the screen too. So I just use these to mark pages that I'm drawn to color each month, and there's 900 sticky tabs in this packet. These are gonna last years. And this other packet has 960 tabs in it, so many. Now, so like I said, these ones I use to mark off my pages that I'm thinking of coloring, different pages that I'm drawn to, that sort of thing. I have a different plan for these. So my plan for these sticky tabs is to stick them on my completed pages in my books with the date completed written on them. So just the month and the year. So for example, for the last page I completed, whatever that one was, I would put the 3rd 25, so 3-25. And these are nice and small, so that will fit on there nicely. Now this will make my life easier when I go to do my every page I've ever colored videos, as everything will already be tabbed for me and with the dates as well. Now I saw this on Wendy's channel on Jazzy Doodle Designs. Wendy uses the wider sticky tabs and she writes down the completed date and the mediums used as well. I may or may not put a code on the tab with initials so I can easily see what I used as the main pencils. For example, I could put PC for Prismacolors, FC for my polychromos, AD for Albrecht Dürer, something like that, because that's a code that I already use when it comes to anything to do with my pencils. So I may do that because there's plenty of space here. I could put, so March 25 would be 325 and then AD for Albrecht Dürers or something like that underneath it. I do keep a list of all my mediums used on my pages in the back of my books, but this will save me from flipping back and forth when I'm doing my videos. And I don't think I'll do it for my full book color alongs though. There's just too many pages. Plus I know the start date and the end dates for coloring in those books. And like I said, my mediums that I use are written in the back. The dates are also written in the back as well of when I completed the pages. It's just to save me time when I am completing those videos and I'm not like flipping back and forth and looking for pages or missing anything. They're there and I can just go straight to them and I don't have to flip to the back for the information. So I think it's a really neat organizational idea. Yeah, and like I said, I saw it first on a Jazzy Doodles design on Wendy's channel if you want to go check out her channel. So I'm looking forward to sticking them in there, and I might get the kids helping me too. That'll be a fun project for us to do together. So the next product I have to show you is actually the full set of the Tombow water-based markers, so the Tombow dual brush pens, and I've got my chart here. So I have been collecting them individually for some time now, so I've been picking them up open stock, but I've always wanted the full set. I do love water-based markers for basing, and there is another set from a different brand that I'm looking at getting as well, so you may see that later on in the video just to add to the color ranges, even though there is 108 pens in this set. So I have been collecting them individually, and these are the ones I've collected so far, but I am missing quite a few, and I do like the storage case that they come with as well. So at the moment, this is what I'm currently storing my Tombow markers in here, and these are all the colors that I have that you can see swatched out here. And if you haven't seen these before, you've got a brush tip on this end and you've got your fine tip on this end here. So these are water based, so they're really good for basing on our colouring pages. And I don't know what I'm going to do with these spares now, how I'm going to store the spares. I might just leave them how they are actually, but some of these are starting to dry out a little bit. Hence why I was looking at getting some new ones, and instead of getting them open stock, I was able to get my hands on a full set. So the markers themselves come in this cardboard box. So you've got the dual brush pens, 108 colors, it's one set. We'll open that up in a moment. And the case came separately in this plastic bag here. So let's pull that out. So you don't have to hear all that rustling. Now let's have a quick look at this. I'm so excited for this. I've been wanting this for so long. Okay, we take the lid off and look at that. This can stand on our desks. Let me put that down. Actually, I'll show you on the lid what the lid looks like. Can you see that on the screen? That's them all in their box here. So desktop and carry case. Storage for Tombow dual brush pens and more, holds up to 108 markers, folds out easy for desktop use, and fully removable snap tight lid, which is this here. Anything else? Store more than markers. You can store your Tombow markers, pencils and brushes of various sizes. So I think you can purchase this separate. I think you can purchase just the storage case on its own if you want to store other items in it. And I'm gonna move the swatch chart out of the way, make some room. I'm really excited about this storage case. So it opens up like this. Need a bigger desk. It opens up like that. One straight line, so you can easily get to your pencils. You can fold it up a little bit like that and have it next to you while you're colouring. Have it completely folded up and next to you while you're colouring. Let's open up this box and have a look at the markers as well. I'm so excited for this. And like I said, there's another brand I've got my eye on as well. And hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on that one. And I have been looking at the Ohuhus as well. Now Ohuhu have told me that So much stuff is out of stock for us in Australia, but the Ohuhu, the large set of alcohol markers, is it the 320 set? That's coming out in April, be available again in April. And the watercolor markers, let me just check my emails, 1 second. Okay, so the 320 color sets of the alcohol markers will be available early April on the Ohuhu website. Now the water brush marker sets, they're still waiting on availability. They're going to keep me updated and I'll keep you updated. So I'll let you know for us Aussies out there when they're available on their website too, because I've got my eyes on them. But look at all these colors. I wonder, was my swatch chart in color order? I think it was. So I think I'll put them all in the order. They're so pretty. I'm really excited to swatch out all the colors that I've been missing to see what they are. I'm also going to go through my existing markers and see which ones have dried out as well, so I can move them on. I don't need them sitting there if they're dried out. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to putting these all in this storage system. Also, if you have a favorite water-based marker, let me know, because I am a little bit obsessed with water-based markers at the moment. And so I've now got the full set of Tombows. There is another brand that I had my eye on, which, let me have a look. I was looking at it on Amazon and I forgot the brand. 1 second. So the Karen brush markers was one set I was looking at. The Chromatech 108 watercolor pens was another one I was looking at, and there was another brand and I can't remember it off the top of my head. I haven't marked it down. I'll have to have another look. I did write it down somewhere. I'll have another look. But if you have any other of your favorite water-based markers that you think I would like, let me know down below. I'm always curious to see what else is out there, so I might put these into here. Alright, that is the full set all in its case. I'm so excited to swatch these out and get started with these in my colouring book. So I'm going to go and swatch these out now. Okay, so I've gone ahead and swatched out all the Tombows that I was missing, and I thought I'd show you how the swatch sheet looks now that it's all completely filled out. And I can't wait to try out these new colours on one of my upcoming pages. Perhaps maybe the Layla Dooley Buddy colour that I've got planned for April, because I definitely want to be basing that page. There are a lot of very vibrant, bold colours in this set. I think I might have a look and see what is out there in terms of pastel tone sets. So I'm looking for a water-based marker that has a large pastel set. So I think that's what I'll have a look for. If you know of any, let me know down below as well, and I can go check them out too. Now I have been editing this video as I go, and I think we're nearing the 2-hour mark, so it is probably a good time for me to start wrapping things up. And I know quite a few items in my hauls do end up being replacements rather than completely new products. So I do hope you still find these videos interesting and helpful. Also, whenever you use my Amazon affiliate links, it really does help me continue to purchase new products to test and share with you here on the channel. So I just want to say a big thank you so much to everybody who has been using those links. And with that in mind, please let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you'd like to see me try out. But please just don't say Pablos. I have looked into the Pablos as I know they are more accessible in some places than the Prismacolors are. But here in Australia, they're over $500 for the 120 set, which is absolutely nuts. I could practically get 2 full Prismacolor sets for that price. Eventually, I will probably get them, but for now, I think I'm just going to keep creating the color combos with the pencils I currently own. But if you are in Australia and you do ever see the Caran d'Ache Pablos on sale, please let me know and I can go check that out. But I do have a few more interesting things on their way for a special challenge video that I'm preparing for you all. But I'll save those to show you in my next haul video in a couple of months' time, as not everything has arrived yet. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it and I'll see you next time. So stay safe, happy colouring, and bye for now.